In 1804, a Swiss physician discovered that if you stare at something long enough without moving your eyes, it disappears, not blurs, not fades, completely vanishes from your perception. Most people hear about this and assume it's a quirky optical illusion, a fun party trick, something that happens under specific lab conditions and nowhere else. But the real explanation is far more unsettling than that, because the Troxler effect isn't a glitch in your vision. It's a feature, and it's running inside your brain every single second of your life. Ignaz Paul Troxler was a Swiss physician and philosopher working in the early 1800s. He published a paper documenting something he'd noticed while studying visual perception. He stated that if you fix your gaze on a single point and hold it there without moving, peripheral images begin to fade. For the next 2 centuries, scientists treated this as a curiosity of the visual system, a limitation of the eye. The assumption was simple. Your eyes get tired, which weakens the signal, hence the image fades. Mind-blowing, isn't it? But this assumption was completely wrong, because later when neuroscientists began mapping what actually happens during Troxler fading, they discovered that the eye wasn't showing any signs of getting tired. Instead, they found an active deletion process taking place deep inside the brain itself. Your brain wasn't failing to receive the signal, it chose to erase it. Here's what actually happens. Your brain receives roughly around 11 million bits of information every single second. It can consciously process around 40 of them. Yes, you've heard that right, just 40 out of 11 million. To handle that gap, your brain runs a continuous filtering system called neural adaptation. The rule is brutally efficient. If a signal isn't changing, it gets deprioritized, first reduced, then suppressed, then deleted entirely from your conscious perception. Movement and change get flagged as important. Anything that seems static gets quietly switched off. Your face in a mirror is held perfectly still, which becomes invisible to your own brain. Not because it can't be seen, because your brain decided it wasn't worth seeing anymore. And when the signal drops, your brain doesn't leave a gap. It fills it in with whatever feels acceptable. Sometimes darkness, or a distorted version of your face, and very rarely even a face that doesn't look like you at all. The researchers who kept studying Troxler fading found something that changed the entire picture. The effect didn't require only a mirror, or any special conditions, as your brain is actively working on erasing the parts of your visual field, for example, the edges of your screen, or the wall behind your monitor, even the ceiling above you. What you experience as reality is not a recording, it is an edited version. Famous neuroscientist David Eagleman described this as, your brain is not a passive receiver of the world, it is an active constructor of it. Every moment of your conscious experience is a best guess. The Troxler effect doesn't show you a flaw in your vision, it shows you the seams. This raises a question that neuroscientists and philosophers have been quietly wrestling with for decades. So, if your brain is constantly filtering, deleting, and reconstructing what you perceive, just imagine how much of what you believe about the world is actually based on what's there. The amount of ideas you might have dismissed, not because they were wrong, but because they didn't change fast enough to stay in your attention. Your brain has built this system to keep you alive. Until this day, that system is still working perfectly. The main question here is whether the brain is designed to delete the unchanging. Who knows? Try the mirror experiment tonight. Stare at your reflection for 60 seconds. Focus on the bridge of your nose and keep the lights dimmed. Remember to think about this while you do it. Could it be possible that we are actually living in a kind of world where our brain quietly edits down the things we try to perceive